I'm going to be walking you guys through my back day today. So we started off with some barbell rows. I like to go pretty heavy here. So I ended up doing 2 warm-up sets just to make sure everything was feeling good and I wasn't going to get injured. Typically, I deadlift on my back days, but I had hit legs the day before and my hamstrings were like really sore. So kind of uncharacteristically sore. So I just didn't do deadlifts because I didn't want to, injure myself, or even if I did deadlift, it was probably going to be a pretty mid session just because my legs were sore. Honestly, I wasn't super happy with my form on either of these sets here. When I strapped in the 225, I was a little too narrow with my grip for both sets. Honestly, I like to get a little bit wider, and my back was coming up a lot more than I actually realized. When I was doing it in the moment, it felt pretty good and I was able to get good back activation, but watching it back now, I think it wasn't as controlled as I thought it was. I'm never super stiff when I'm doing it. Like I hinge a little bit, but this was definitely much more hinging than I would have liked. So if I could do those sets over again, I definitely would want to. Moved into pull-ups right after to work on my lats because the barbell rows were getting my upper back. So I just started with some body weight pull-ups as a warm-up, and then I hopped into the weighted. So I'm able to do a 35 plate. I want to try a 45 soon, but for right now, my working set weight is 35. I was able to get 6 reps here. If you see, when I get to my 7th, I don't really get up, so I didn't count it. That was like the 6th. Kind of had to kip for that one, and this one tried to get up for a 7th rep, and I was not able to. And then after I just went again. I did 2 sets. 2 sets to failure, so 35 again, and I was able to get it for 5 this time. I always think it's a pretty good indicator that you're training hard if you're a little more tired on your second set and you get a little less reps on your second set. So after pull-ups, because I've done some upper back, some rhomboid and stuff like that, and lats, I went into rear delt flies. My rear delts are definitely the most lacking part of my shoulder, so I always try and put a focus on growing my rear delts whenever I hit back. I know a lot of people hit rear delts when they're hitting shoulders, but I like to do it when I'm hitting back. It just kind of makes more sense because on rows, sometimes I do barbell rows, sometimes I do T-bar rows, but I typically feel my rear delts a little bit too. So if I can just do some sort of reverse fly, reverse pec deck, or with the dumbbells after, it feels pretty good normally, and I get a nice rear delt pump. Did 2 sets of that with the 25s. I go pretty light just because I'm trying to make sure the form's good on these. It's not like barbell rows where I'm just trying to throw around a ton of weight and be explosive. It's really just more about growing my rear delts, so I'm not going to be stupid and use weight that I'm not really accustomed to. I'm not going to my ego is not going to be crazy after doing some heavy weight on rear delt flies. I really don't care that much what weight I do. It's more just about trying to grow my shoulders. So I was able to grind out some partials here. I know a lot of people say they don't like partials and they do reps in reserve or whatever like that, but I've always just liked to feel like I'm emptying the tank fully. If I feel like I've gone as hard as I possibly can on a set, I always prefer that to leaving anything in the tank. And then dumbbell pullover here. I want to start switching to cable for this because even though I really like the feeling of dumbbell and I like just having that shoulder mobility and being able to kind of showcase that with the dumbbell, it's a little light. You'll see here I almost got 13 reps, which is just pretty high because the Firehouse gym where I work out only goes up to a 70 pound. So probably just going to have to switch to cable if I'm going to keep doing this movement because I've progressed it to the point where the heaviest dumbbell that they have at the Firehouse is a little too light for my typical working set. But I really like the feel of this one. Try and get as deep as I can down there. At this point, I had a really good back pump. I'd hit 3 sets of lats, 2 sets of rear delts, 2 sets of upper back. So I was feeling, really good. My back was pretty pumped up, had a lot of good blood flow, and it was a good hard set. So, it was really nice to feel my lats here. Just did 1 set because I'd already hit another lat exercise. And then I did some barbell shrugs just for my traps at the end, as a linebacker and lineman, hitting a lot, getting hit a lot. I always want to try and keep my neck and traps very strong, just to try and prevent any sort of concussions and stuff like that from happening. And after this, I actually did end up doing some neck strength accessories, just neck extensions and stuff like that. But I didn't record any of that because it looks pretty stupid. So here's the workout on screen, if you guys were wondering. Just a quick summary. I normally do anywhere from 8 to 10 sets, all to failure. Just make sure you're pushing yourself hard and you're going to feel it.